We are on Daf Pei Gimel Amid Beis. Amid Aleph. Pei Gimel Amid Aleph, 83a, and we're several lines in. We saw machlokas between Rabbah and Rabbi Lazar, how to interpret machlokas between the Chachamim and Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says that we're comparing the Tumah of Avodah Zarah to the Tumah of Nida, and the Chachamim say we compare the Tumah of Avodah Zarah to the Tumah of Sheretz. Rabbah said everybody agrees that there is a Tumah for carrying. The question is only whether there is also a Tumah for Evan Mesame, which was a unique Tumah that pertains to Zav and Zava and Nida, which is the Tumah for sitting on a stone chair, and according to Rashi, the airspace beneath, anything in there that will be tummy. We had the reverse interpretation of Rabbi Lazar, who says, no, everybody agrees that Evan Masama does not apply to Avodah Zarah. And if your Avodah Zarah is on such a stone platform, such a stone chair, it would not cause tumah. Rather, the machlokas is whether there is tumah for carrying Avodah Zarah. And if somebody carries Avodah Zarah, is that going to be tummy or not? Rabbi Akiva says it's compared to Nida in as much that it causes that tumah. And and the Chachamim say, no, it does not have that tumah. And the distinction, other distinctions are that they would agree there's no tumah to the Meshamshei Avodah Zarah, to the vessels that are used in service of the Avodah Zarah. And Rabbi Akiva says, and then there's also an exemption of the tumah to the limbs, the parts that came off of an Avodah Zarah, whether they broke off or if they came off, meaning that they're made to come off and they come off. We'll see more about that later today. So the Gemara is going to try and prove the two opinions between Rabbah and Rabbi Eliezer, how to interpret Rabbi Akiva and the Chacham. Mesave. So this is on, again, Pei Gimel Amid Aleph, about 7-8 lines in. Mesave Avodah Zarah Kesheretz, U'Mishamsha Kesheretz. The Brisa says that both the Avodah Zarah and the instruments, the Mishamshe Avodah Zarah, that which services it, both are going to be like a sheretz. And there's going to be a tumah to the level of a sheretz. Rabbi Akiva Omer Avodah Zarah Kenida. No, Avodah Zarah is like a nida. U'Mishamsha Kesheretz, and the service items of the Avodah Zarah are going to be like a sheretz. Now, Bishlam Rabbi Lazar. So according to the second interpretation, nicha. So that makes sense because according to the Rabbanan, it's like a sheretz, and therefore it's not going to be. It's not going to have this severe tumah of Evan Misame, that stone chair, where if Avodah Zarah is placed on this stone chair, it would not cause tumah. So that's why it makes sense. Elul Rabbah, but according to Rabbah, kasha. According to Rabbah, that there's a tumas masa if you carry Avodah Zarah, even according to the Rabbanan. So what does it mean when they said it's going to be compared to a sheretz? According to Rabbah, the Rabbanan say that even Avodah Zarah even has a tumah of masa. If you carry Avodah Zarah, it creates a tumah, which is a comparison to nida. So why in this case, in this brisa, does it say that the Rabbanan hold that Avodah Zarah is like a sheretz? It should say it's like nida because it also has the tumah masa of carrying.
I thought Evan Masa has to do with drisa. That if you put a weight, even if a 2-ton boulder, you're not really adding to the weight, but still we're going to say that it's metame. I thought that's what an Evan Masa was.
Rashi learns that the Evan Masame, there are different interpretations. Rashi learns the Evan Masame is.
That's what I remembered from Chulin. I don't remember.
there is that interpretation, and in others, that there's multiple interpretations of what this Evan Masame is, this unique tuma in regards to nida. But we have Rashi here clearly states that the idea is it's a stone chair, a stone on top of four legs. The airspace beneath any vessel that's in there would be tummy. Even though it's no pressure on it, there's no, it doesn't even touch, that would be tumah.
But I mean, avodah zarah doesn't have anything to do with pressure, right? That
it has nothing to do with pressure here.
Uh-huh.
Rashi learns has nothing to do with pressure. It's simply the airspace beneath a chair.
Okay.
Elul Rabba Kasha, but according to Rabba, we have a question in this brisa. Why did the Chachamim say that? Why does this brisa say that according to the Chachamim, avodah zarah is like a sheretz, which does not have the tumah if you carry a sheretz? So too, there should be no tumah for the avodah zarah if you carry it. And yet, according to Rabba, the Chachamim say that there's tumah if you carry avodah zarah. Kasha. So this seems a question. Amalach Rabba. So Rabba says, Mi alima memasnitin. Doesn't tell us any more than our Mishnah. In our Mishnah, the Ktani Eitzav Avana Va'afrav Metamim Kesheretz. In our Mishnah, it says that the stones that of the collapsed wall and the wood of the collapsed wall and the dust of the collapsed wall all going to be tummy like Kesheretz. And yet, Rabbi explained, my Kesheretz, the Lamatama Bev Mesamim. And Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi explained that the meaning of the Mishnah that says that it's tummy like a sheretz means it's not completely like a nida, in as much that it doesn't have the tumah of Evan Masam. Meaning, if the avodah zarah is on such a platform, on such a chair, it would not cause tumah to the airspace beneath it. But we explain Rabbi explained in the Mishnah that when it says that it's like a sheretz, it's only to minimize that is special tumah of nida. But it does not mean that it doesn't have some aspects of nida. It does have that in as much as if you carry avodah zarah, it would cause tumah to the person carrying it, just like someone who carries nida. So too in this brisa, we're going to say when the brisa said that according to Chachamim, avodah zarah is like a sheretz, it only means to limit and exclude Evan Masamim. Mesaveh, we ask another question. The brisa says Nachri ben Nachrus avodah zarah mishamshel, an idolater, male or female. The idols themselves, and its services, hein v'lo heseta, they cause tumah, and not its pressure. So at this point, we think that heseta, the pressure, is that the avodah zarah is causing pressure to another thing. Essentially, when you carry it, usually. When we say hesed, we mean that something pushes the tummy pushes something else. Here we're going to mean. Here we think it means you push the tummy, which is not the case generally. But in any case, we thought they, meaning all four of these, a male, a female, non-idolater, avodah zarah, and service tools are all going to have a tumah themselves, and when there's pressure on it. So Rabbi Kiva mehem v'haseta. Them and not the pressure. Rabbi Kiva mehem v'haseta. And Rabbi Kiva says no, them and the pressure. Now the Gemara says, okay, so now let's take it back to the brisa before, which was talking about carrying avodah zarah. So bishlam el Rabbi Lazar nicha. So according to Rabbi Lazar, this is good because it says that according to Chachamim, there's no tumah of pressure, which means that it's not going to be tumah for carrying it. Elul Rabba, but according to Rabba, kasha. But according to Rabba, who says that there is a tumah for carrying avodah zarah, everybody agrees to that. So why do the Chachamim say they cause Tumah, but not their pressure? What does that mean? So Rabbi says, wait, according to your understanding, Nachri v'Nachris nami hein v'le'aseitan. According to you, when it says idolaters are going to cause Tumah, it's them and not their pressure. Vatanya. We learned, we know it says by the parsha of Zav and Nida. Zav and Nida, the Tumas of bodily flows. They're going to the Tumah Daber el Bnei Israel. It applies only to Bnei Israel and not to idolaters. Yet the Chachamim enacted a Tumah for Nachrim, for that a non-Jew is tummy like a Zav and a Zava. And so how could he say that Hein v'lo Hesetan? How could he say that there's no Heset for the non-Jews? So in any case, the Brisa cannot be taken literally the way it's written. So Rabbi is going to explain it his way, and Rabbi Elazar is going to explain it his way. No, for a non-Jew, the person, both they and their pressure, meaning if they lean on something, they're carried, there will be tumah. And even they sit on a chair, this stone chair, the airspace beneath it is going to be tummy. Avodah Zarah, however, the idols themselves, the idol itself is going to have tumah for it itself and the pressure. But not the stone chair. If it's put on a stone platform, the airspace beneath it is not going to be tummy. Rabbi Akiva, however, Rabbi Akiva says, Avodah Zarah no, Avodah Zarah also is going to be tummy like Anida, and even the Evan Masame, even this stone platform, the stone chair, would cause tumah. So Rabbi explains it exactly as he interprets.
So for the Nochrin and Nochris, because the Chachamim were guys that they have tumas as Zav, that's the idea, or is this a different thing?
Yep. This is a tumah of Zav and Zava. So it's going to have a tumah.
For the Rabbanan. This is all the Rabbanan.
For the Jew, the non-Jew, it's going to be a tumah de Rabbanan. Correct. We'll see later in the Gemara that that's true also for Avodah Zarah. Even though we have Pesukim, we'll see in a moment. So Rabbi Akiva. So according to Rabbah, this all makes sense. As Rabbah said yesterday, that the Chachamim and Rabbi Akiva agree that that Avodah Zarah is going to be similar to Nida in as much as that it's going to cause tumah when you carry it, when it causes pressure. The difference is only is that Rabbi Akiva adds the Evan Masame, this stone chair, and the airspace beneath it. And he's explaining this brisa that way as well. And even though at first in the text of brisa we had lumped the four together, Rabbi is saying that the text must be mistaken of the brisa, and therefore he separates the two and says that everybody agrees the idolaters are going to have tumah like Anida. And the question is whether Avodah Zarah has that level as well. Rab and the Chachamim say Avodah Zarah does not. The idol itself does not cause Evan Masami and the airspace beneath it to be tummy. And Rabbi Akiva says it does. So that brisa now works according to Rabbi. Rabbi Eliezer Mataras Tamei, and Rabbi Eliezer is going to explain it according to his interpretation. He puts it all together. And he says that for a non-Jew, there's going to be tumah, and in this he agrees to Rabbah. For the idolater, there's going to be tumah both like Anida, in as much as that if you carry it, or on the Evan Masami, it's going to cause tumah. Avodah Zarah, however, for the idols, Hiva lehiseta. It's only tuma itself and not its pressure. And Rabbi Akiva adds, Rabbi Akiva hiva seta. It's itself and its pressure, and if you carry it, but not the Evan Masame. Everybody agrees there's no Evan Masame. So again, we had a brisa, and both Rabba and Rabbi Elazar are going to explain the brisa, which the text of the brisa in any case is too short and missing some information. So each one adds the information to make it fit with his interpretation.
Are they arguing on what were the limits of the Gezerah?
Correct.
Uh-huh.
Correct. Like most arguments in Tuma, it's the arguments about how far the Gezeros went, the rabbinic enactments as fences of Tuma went. Maskav lo Ravashi. So Ravashi challenges, my hain, what does it mean they are Tame and their pressure is Tame? What is they? Now, it doesn't mean they are Tame. Well, of course, if they give pressure, if their pressure is Tame, for sure they themselves are Tame. There can't be something itself is not Tame, yet it gives pressure and that which it leans on is Tame. Right? So it should just say they're when they touch something and when they lean on it, it's Tame. So what does it mean? Elam Ravashi Achikama. So rather Ravashi says the Brisa means this. Nachri v'nachri is bein hein she'asitos acherim. Hein means when they cause pressure. Whether they put pressure on something, ubein achem she'asitos son, or if others leaned on them to main. That's going to be a tuma, regardless of whether they are the one leaning or they are the one leaned on. Nachri and nachris, idolaters, are going to cause tuma to the one they leaned on or the one that leaned on them. Avodah zarah she'esita acherim ta'arit. However, avodah zarah, when it leans on something else, it will not cause tuma. But if others lean on it, then it does cause tuma, and that's the meaning of the brisa. Now the brisa fits well. The hain, meaning their pressure, caused tuma, but hesetan, when something leans on it, it caused tuma. Meshamshel, the service items of the idols, bein hein shesitos acherim, bein achem shesitos son. Whether they leaned on others or others leaned on them, Taharan, there's Tahara, it does not cause Tumah. And to that, Rabbi Akiva says, no, Rabbi Akiva, idolaters and the idols, regardless of whether they lean on others or others leaned on them, whether it's the idolaters or the idols itself, to main it causes Tumah. Meshamshel, ever the service tools, there is no tumah regardless of whether it leans on others or others lean on it. So the Gemara says, wait, avodah zarah, an idol, makes sense that you're going to say that others lean on avodah zarah. They leaned on it. What does it mean an idol leaned on other things? It stretched its arm out and leaned on something else. What's that mean? It means like we learned in a Mishnah. The Mishnah is referring to the counterweight. On the side over here they say that Tues says that it's a brisa, not a Mishnah. In any case, we have a Mishnah similar to this in Zavin. Hazav bekaf masnai. If you need a weight for something very heavy, so you're not selling grains, but you're selling barrels full of something, and you need a weight. So on the counterweight, so you have a scale, and you need to put something in a counterweight. So you put a person stepped on the counter scale, and that person happens to be a zav. So hazav bekaf maznayim va'ochlin umashkem bekaf shnia, and a barrel of food or drink are on the other side of the scale. Now, So we know that there's a tumas hesed, there's a tumah of pressure in regards to a zav. So it's going to depend. If the zav weighs more than the barrel, than the food, than the drink, well then by the pressure of the weight of the zav, that lifted up and put pressure on the food on the other side of the scale. And so that even though there was no direct contact, it was just a tipping of a seesaw. But since it weighed more, it lifted up and therefore caused pressure. It pushed the food the other way, and it'll cause tuma to the food in the other side of the scale. However, that's karazav tamain, so that'll all be tuma. We turn to Pei Gimel Amid Beis. Karu hein, but however, if the barrel was weighed more than the zav, taharin, they remained tahor on account of that they were the ones that pushed the zav, not the other way around. And the scale itself is not going to be tummy, because the tuma of pressure is going to be either on food or drink or on something that's made to sit or lay on, mishkav and moshav. But a scale obviously not made to stand on. And we saw this earlier, that any barrel or any bucket would not receive tuma from somebody sitting on it, even though that it's mishkav and moshav. There is a tuma for a chair or a bed. This doesn't count, because any vessel that the proper use of it allows for someone to say, please get off of that, please get off the barrel, I need it, please get off the bucket, I need it. So that's amod v'nasim alachtenu. Get up, please, because we need to do our work. That means it doesn't qualify as a chair. It doesn't qualify it as a mishkav or a moshav. It's not a place of sitting. You happen to be sitting on it. That would not cause a tumah. So the scale as well, the zav standing on the one side of the scale would not make the scale tameh, because the scale is not meant to be stood on. It's as soon as they're done weighing, tell them, please get off of that. So it's not made for that, so it wouldn't cause tumah. It's only a designated vessel that it would cause tumah to. And the food would get tumah, would get tumah from the pressure of the zav, in as much as the zav outweighed it and therefore lifted it with the scale. And so that's the meaning of this brisa, which said that the avodah zarah that leaned on something is going to cause tumah. That's the avodah zarah on a scale. If it was put on a scale to counterweight food or something else, that would cause tumah to the other item on account of the avodah zarah pushing it. And so we had a question. Fine, you can push the avodah zarah, but how does the avodah zarah push something? We said that means that the avodah zarah is a counterweight. The Gemara, top line, Pei Gimel Amid Beis, Kaman Azlaha D'Tanya, according to whose opinion do we interpret this brisa? Kol hatameos hamasitos tahoros. All tumas that push, that cause pressure, such as on a scale where it's going to be a counterweight and outweigh the other item, tahoros, it will not cause tumah. Chutz meheseta shel zav, besides for a zav itself. Because we don't find a similar concept of hesed, of pressure, other than the zav itself. So only the zav can cause such a tumah. Lema delika Rabbi Akiva. Let's say it's not Rabbi Akiva, because Rabbi Akiva said that avodah zarah is compared to zav and nida in as much that it causes tumah of pressure if you carry it. The Ikar Rabbi Akiva, Ikanam avodah zarah. The Gemara says no. Afilu tema Rabbi Akiva. We can even explain it according to Rabbi Akiva. What's the source of the avodah zarah tumah according to Rabbi Akiva? Because the Navi Yeshayahu says that you should disperse the avodah zarah like a nida. So the source of the tumah of pressure from avodah zarah that source of tumah, it actually stems from the tumah of zav, from zava, from nida. Well, then, if it comes from there, so then the brisa can lump it together and say the only time you have such a tumah is zav, and everything like it, or everything that we learn from it, like avodah zarah. So Tana zav v'chol dadam eileh. The brisa, when it said the only place we find such a tumah is zav, it means that's because that is the only place we find it, and avodah zarah only is learned from there. By Rav Chama Bar Guria. So Rav Chama Bar Guria asked, avodah zarah yeshna levarim, eina levarim. So this we saw in passing a couple of days ago, and the question was: is avodah zarah have a tumah for its limbs, or only the whole of the avodah zarah? So by Rav Chama Bar Guria, yeshna avodah zarah yeshna levarim, eina levarim. So the first version says, if anybody can put it back on, and if anybody can reattach the arm that fell off, there's no question. The command of Mechaber is telling me, it's as if it actually is connected, it's a part of the avodah zarah, and it's going to cause tumah. Where is there a question? Question is that you don't have the ability, a typical person cannot re-solder it or reconnect it. It takes a professional to put it together. Do we say, since even though that it's not broken, but it doesn't come with an IKEA set of putting it together, it takes a professional to put this limb back on. So therefore, it's as if it's broken, and it doesn't have tumah of avodah zarah because it's a broken avodah zarah. Even though it's not missing any parts, and even though that it's not chipped, it's not broken. It's just simply it's detached, and you need to put it back. So command the mitra dummy, it's as if it's broken. Dilma holamechsara. No, or do we say no? Since it's made to come apart, and you can put it back together, somebody who knows what they're doing can put it back together, and it's not missing any parts. It'll be as good as new. Therefore, it's not going to be considered missing, and that's the question of Rechama Bar Guria. The ikad baylo lahach gisa. However, there are those that say the version of the correct version of this question is the other way around. When a common or a regular person cannot return it, there, of course, the command of mitra, that's going to be broken. The question is, if a common person typically can put it together, however, it's now separated. Do we say that since a regular person can put it together, it's as if it's connected and not broken? Or perhaps now it's slipped out, now it's not in its place, and therefore it is not a part of the avodah zarah. Teku, we don't have an answer to Rechama Bar Guria's question. Tishbu Yitar, it's Kushvi's favorite. Rabbi Achdaboy Barami asked a question of avodah zarah pechusa mekazayis. You had an idol, not a broken idol, but a complete idol that's less than the size of an olive size. They had miniatures, avodah zarah miniatures, all of the idols. Your favorite idol collection. It came in cereal boxes, I think, and they were less than the size of an olive. Now, so what's the halacha? Maskef lo Rav Yosef lamai. In regards to what are you asking this question? Do you want to know if that's a prohibited idolatry? It's not. It shouldn't be any worse or any less than the fly that's called Baal Akron, and it was in Tanakh. We see in the Shoftim, and we see that Zavuv Baal Akron was an idol that the Canaanites had. The fly Baal Akron, the Tani we learned, and even though that Baal Akron is mentioned many places, but we bring this verse to tell us that it was a tiny piece. It was a tiny thing. But Yisimu lehen Baal Bris, they put this zavuv Baal Akron and the Baal Bris as a god. This was their covenant as a god. Zavuv Baal Akron Malami, and that teaches us everybody made a little image of their deity, and they will put it inside their pocket. So this was a pocket size Godhead figurine. It's a kivan shezochra, and whenever he thought of it, take it out of his pocket and hug it and kiss it. A little fly idol. So of course that's avodah zarah, and then we don't need. There's no question. We have it in a pasuk. Of course, this is an idol and would be included in the prohibition of idolatry. Elul inyan tumah. So rather, the question must be in regards to tumah, and now it makes sense because we know that there are tumas that are ka'adasha, the size of a bean. There's a tumah the size of the size of a kazayas, an olive size, and we're asking: is the tumah of avodah zarah included in one of these? So, here's the question: Kiven is kishlo sheretz. Since we have shaketz to shaketzenu, the verse we saw yesterday, where the Torah says you should expunge it, repudiate it. It should be disgusting to you, and that's the term for a sheretz, for a rodent. And so we're going to say that ma sheretz b'cha'adasha, just as sheretz is the size of a lentil. Af avodah zarah nami b'cha'adasha, so too avodah zarah also is a lentil size, and therefore it has the minimum size of a lentil, but a fly, maybe bigger than that, is going to be tummy, or any of these figurines. Or Dilmo, perhaps iskish lameis. We have another verse where the Torah compares it to the dead, because it says you bury it in a graveyard like a dead. Ma mace, because is just like the deceased. The tumah of a mace is a kazayas size. Af avodah zarah kazayas, so avodah zarah has a minimum kazayas, and therefore these figurines that are miniature, less than the olive size, would not be included in the tumah of avodah zarah. Amar Rav Yavi Tamer Rabba Bar Ula Tashema. Come in here. The Tani we learned. Avodah zarah pechusim mekazayis ein batuma kol ikr. Avodah zarah that's smaller than an olive size indeed does not have tumah at all. Shenemar, as it says, vayashlichas afra al kever b'nei ha'am, as it says in Malachim, that they destroyed and burnt the avodah zarah by the Kidron, and the ash was thrown into a grave. So we see it's compared to the dead. So mam meis bekazayis, just as a dead person is going to, a minimum size is going to be tomei kazayis. So there's a limb or some blood from a deceased person. It's going to cause tumah in a minimum of kazayis. Half of it is our kazayis, so too it's going to be a tumah of a kazayis for idols. Well, then according to that, what comparison do we have to a sheretz? The limitama b'masa. So sorry. So now the Gemara is going to make a summary. It says Rabbanon l'may hilchas yishkishu sheretz the limitama b'masa. That in what manner is it compare? Is it compared to sheretz, in that it doesn't have tumah of carrying it. Lanida, in what manner is it compared to nida? The ena leivarim. That it doesn't, limbs of it, just like a nida, we saw this yesterday, just like a nida is the body of a nida causes tumah, but not a limb of a nida. So too, a limb of avodah zarah is not going to cause tumah. The limitama b'cha'adasha, lameis, and in what manner is it compared to a dead person? The limitama b'cha'adasha. So we have 3 verses comparing it to various tumas. We have a verse comparing it to sheretz because it says shaketz the shaketzenu, and therefore it's not. It says that it's a leniency. It will not cause tuma when carrying it. It's compared to nida. Yeshayahu Hanavi compares it to nida. It says tizrem that you should expel it and disperse it like nida, like a dava. And we said that's to tell you a limit that it's not going to cause tuma in the limbs, a limb of it, a broken arm, and the tumah of a sheretz. In the tumah of a deceased. This that it says that he's put into a grave, telling us that it's like a deceased. So in what comparison is that? The Chachamim say that it doesn't have a limit. The limit is it's not going to be tummy less than a kazayas. The Gemara says, wait, why are you going lenient on each one of these? Each one of them has a stringency. Why don't we say stricter? In what manner did the Torah compare it to a sheretz? To tell you that even a small amount, like a lentil, is going to cause tumah. And lenida, and what comparison do you have to a nida? To make a tumah in this stone chair, that and the airspace beneath would be tummy. And the Torah compared it to a mace, to a dead person, to tell you that if you had an avodah zarah in a tent, just like a deceased person in a tent, in a space with a roof, a covered area is going to spread the tumah across the whole tent. So too, avodah zarah would be the same. The Gemara says no. Tumas avodah zarah derabanan. This is a derabanan. Now, even though we have a pasuk in Yeshayahu Hanavi, that's where it was instituted. It was instituted by the Divrei Kabbalah, by the Nevi'im. The tumah of avodah zarah was instituted by the Nevi'im. Interestingly, people were more concerned with tumah than with idolatry. So if you told them that the idol causes tumah, they would stay away. But the idolatry itself was for whatever too difficult for them to stay away from. So Yeshayahu Hanavi and the Nevi'im and the Chachamim of the time enacted tumah like a nida. And so therefore, since these are rabbinic enactments, post Torah Shebechsav enactments, post the Torah itself enactments, and therefore they are lenient to the comparison. And any time you have a tumah derabanan, the comparison is always going to be a lenient comparison as opposed to the stricter comparison, which would be there if it was a d'oraisa approach. The next Mishnah also is going to bring a drash for a tumah. So, how do we know that a boat in water is not susceptible to tumah? Shenea, for it says derech oniyah belev. The way of a boat is in the sea, right? So the Gemara is going to explain. Shita oniyah belev. Of course, that's where a boat is. It's in the heart of the sea. So what does the pasuk have to say that for? Hakamash malan. So rather, it's telling us kiyam that it is like the sea. Ma'yam tahar. Just like the sea is not susceptible to tumah, af safina tahara, so too your boat is not susceptible to tumah. However, Tanya, Chananya, we have a brisa that Chananya says we learn it from sak. The Torah says, in comparison to of the tumas, it puts together sak with other vessels. So we learn from sackcloth. Masak mitaltal malavareka. A sack must be able to carry things. So you have to be able to handle the sack both when it's empty and when it's full. Afkol mitaltal malavareka. So anything, in order for it to be susceptible to tumah as a vessel, it's only going to count as a vessel if it's carryable both empty or full. La'afuke svina. And that would exclude certain size chests and boxes and cabinets. And also a boat. A boat would be exempt. Because you cannot carry it both full or empty. My benai. So what's the distinction between whether you compare it to sack and say just as sackcloth, it has to be metaltem oliverekan, carryable, empty or full. So too, any vessel is only going to be tamei that way, and therefore a boat is excluded. Or if you have the drash of that aniya belevyam, that it's compared to the sea, and just as the sea is not susceptible to tumah, so too a boat. The comparison, a earthenware, a clay boat. Manda amar ani belevyam. So if you can say that it's just like the sea and it's comparable to the sea, so there it just says aniya, any boat. Hanami belevyam. This is also in the sea, and so it's going to have the comparison to the sea, and it's not susceptible to tum. Lamanda Omar Kasak. However, like Hanani, who says that it's comparable to sak, well, there it's talking about regular vessels, other vessels. The ones that are compared there to sak, like leather and wood. The metaltem oliverekon in iloiloi. Those need to be able to be moved both empty or full. However, avosfina shalcheres, but an earthenware, a clay boat, afagav the enamatals mavrek, and even though you cannot move it, you cannot carry it when it's empty or full. That would not be included. Inami, or perhaps svina sayarde. Another distinction would be a Jordan boat. Now, the Jordan River is a small, shallow, narrow river, and therefore it only had small rafts. It did not really have larger boats. According to the opinion that says that the reason a boat is not susceptible to tumah is because it's compared to the sea itself, and the sea itself is not susceptible to tumah, so too the boat is not susceptible to tumah. So even such a small raft as a Jordan boat is also not going to be susceptible to tumah. But according to the opinion that says that it needs to be the reason a boat is not susceptible to tumah is because it's not really carryable, empty or full. Well, actually, this is it's a small raft, and you could carry it. You could walk through the street with your little canoe, a little raft, and take it to the sea. As Chanina ben Akavia said, that why is it that the Jordan River rafts are susceptible to tumah? Because people carry it themselves to the river and then through the land and put it down on the river. So since you carry it, it's carryable as a sackcloth and is susceptible to tumah. So you see that this brisa indeed was this brisa was the source that and concludes like Hananya that it's susceptible to tumah on account of it's not susceptible to tumah on account of the comparison to sack, and indeed Jordan River rafts are susceptible to tumah because they are movable and they're not comparable to sack. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Marav. So Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Rab when this was taught. A person should never hold himself back from going to the Beis HaMedrash to learn. Even for one moment. For many years we learned this brisa that Jordan River rafts are susceptible to tumah, and we didn't know the reason. Until Rabbi Chanina ben Akavia came, Upirsha, and he explained it to us. So we see that one moment would have been missed. We would have missed an important teaching. So never hold yourself back from the academy, from the Beis Medrash, from learning, because there's always something new to learn. Even something that for years and years we knew the halacha and didn't know the meaning. Finally, somebody came and taught us the meaning. This is a great way to end before Shavuos. Amar Rabbi Yonasan. Now A person should never hold himself back from learning Torah and from study of Torah and from the Beis Medrash, even as somebody is ebbing away at death. Shenemafor says Zos Torah. This is the Torah. Adam kiyamas ba'ol. It already said Zos Torah at the beginning of that parsha, and yet the Torah superfluously says the words Zos Torah Adam kiyamas ba'ol. This is the Torah of a person that dies in a tent, to tell you that even if a person's dying in a tent, they need to be learning Torah. Yesterday, Rabbi Tzvi Fischer on the video chat we had told a story that when Elisheva, his daughter, was born the day before Shavuos. Today is her birthday, and he was in the hospital Shavuos. A nearly 80-year-old man was learning with his nearly 100-year-old father in the hospital on Shavuos. It was fantastic to watch. Even if a person's passing away, even if somebody's elderly and ebbing away, nevertheless, they have Torah, they have meaning, because Torah is not attached to the physical world. It's the connection to the spiritual world, to Hashem. And tonight, as we celebrate Kabbalah Satorah, we can cherish that we have this spiritual connection to the Torah and to Hashem. Amar Rish Lakish, and Rish Lakish says, "Ein divrei Torah miskaimin ella b'misha meimis atzma aleh. Shenema zes Torah adam kiyamas ba'ol." And Torah is not retained properly unless somebody kills himself over it. That means that they can toil with difficulty, put all their efforts, they weaken their body by putting their efforts into understanding it, into learning it, and they can shut out Adam Kiyamas Ba'ohel. He's in the tent. That means that he's protected. He can shut out the rest of the world for a few moments and focus on the Torah and incorporate it and learn it and connect to Hashem in this special way of his holy word. With that.